Good afternoon, Technosphere. I've come to terms with the fact that I can't do mornings. And, well, I'm just going to have to live with it, aren't I? Today I had mild success. No, I didn't. I'm talking complete shit. I completely got up late, missed all the appointments I was supposed to do, and am relapsing on the fags as every morning. And, but I've decided to maintain some consistency and keep going with my research into tribal Britain. And it made me think about what there was before tribal Britain. And I thought that before tribal Britain, like long ago, for which I don't have dates, everything was a forest. I think the whole of Northern Europe was a forest. I could be wrong about all this. But apart from England, I think England was mostly foresty before people settled in places. And well, there were humans in a forest and they were able to live quite successfully, one would imagine, because evolution continued to happen and they didn't get wiped out. And so you had this species that was functioning well in its environment and living and dying and doing doings as people do. And I guess that they had the same cognitive powers as we have. They would have had a different information base. And I guess they would have been nomading around. And one would imagine, this is all guesswork, I don't know, that they were in like family groups to start with, and those family groups grew and expanded and became tribes because of the successful evolution of human beings. And so pre-tribally, I guess there would have been no hierarchical systems, but that's a fucking guess. And everybody would have been surviving based on what they knew of the environment. And your success in manipulating your environment would be the deciding factor in whether you and your gene pool was successful, I guess. Anyway, it clearly was, whatever happened, it was successful, and it turned into people being tribes. And all we know about the tribes of Britain is told to us by Greek and Roman historians. And so the names that they call them, the Greeks and Romans called them, might not have been the names that they called themselves. And there are a lot of them. And but their movements and doings before the Romans met them and wrote about them are not really known, and they're only traceable by the bits of stuff that are found left in the ground. So the first thing I found out about tribal Britain was that it appears to be largely unrecorded. And it's a bit odd, isn't it? Because I swear, right, everywhere else has got oral tradition. What's happened to the British oral tradition from the tribeless? There's like African tribes that know shit from like fucking ages ago because they've got this consistent oral tradition. And I'm sure that is true for other places. But in my ignorance, I do not know what they are. But what I definitely do know is that tribal Britain was highly civilized in a lot of... as it didn't have a civil service, tribal Britain was highly developed in all kinds of social ways. And they had a belief system and social structures and methods of passing information about. Obviously, they must have done, because they found coins of them. So, what the fuck happened to the British oral history? The British oral tradition? Where him gone? I just thought of that. Where is the British oral tradition? That's because there must have been one. It cannot be that there was this complex tribal society without an oral tradition. It's fucking ludicrous. It couldn't happen. It just definitely couldn't happen. And once again, my research takes me off at a ridiculous tangent that may or may not have anything to do with the subject that I am attempting to research. So, while I'm investigating the tribal thing, I'm also kind of in parallel going to be vaguely wondering where the British oral tradition has gone, and how it is that could have occurred. Good morning.